recording, and yeah, we can just go ahead and get started. Same as
Okay,
usual. It'll be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
gotcha.
All right, so we might already just talk about initial positioning here of
hmm
just where should we be standing. So, we've gone over Anna extensively, right? We already discussed her a bunch. So give me a reminder, right? What are the three check boxes of Anna positioning?
Let's see, natural cover. I feel like that'd have to be one.
Or that's general positioning. That's something that applies to every character. But Anna, in and of herself, she has specific positioning that applies to her.
Probably high ground, I imagine, because of her
Yep.
range and
Again,
stuff.
that's another one that's generally applicable to everybody. So maybe we didn't go over Anna's specific positioning. But I mean, like keep going. Is there anything else you can remember with positioning?
Um, Probably being within sight lines of teammates,
Yep.
I
That's
imagine.
that is the first checkbox of Anna positioning is can you see your team?
hmm
Mm.
Um, I probably staying out of most enemy sight lines, I imagine,
Yep,
would probably be
that's
another one.
that's that's number two is can the enemy team see you? If you are just healing, you're just flat up healing and you're not looking for any nades or sleeps or anything else,
hmm
the enemy team should probably not be able to see you, because there's no reason to let them, right? You're just gonna take
Yeah.
meaningless damage, you're gonna die. So you usually want to do something to where you can put them out of line of sight. So for example, right, you would like sit here and heal where you can put the enemy team out of your line of sight instead of standing here and healing, right? Where
Mhm.
everybody can see you, right? So then what's the final checkbox?
Um, to be honest, I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah. Can you land abilities, right? So
Oh, okay, yeah.
that would be off angling, right? We've talked about
hmm
off angling
Yeah.
yet. So that'd be the last checkbox is like, are you in a position to where you can easily off angle? So let's go through and check off a bunch of those. So where we are positioned right now, this instant, can we see our team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah. Pretty
yeah.
well. Can the enemy team see us?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's we've checked off one, one is not checked off. Can we easily land nades and sleeps from here?
Not easily, no.
Yeah, not super easily. So maybe that one's like, yeah, that one just wouldn't be checked off, right? So we checked off one of those. Do we have cover we
hmm
can use?
I mean, we have a little bit of natural cover, but not nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe if we like stood a little bit closer to one of these walls, we'd be able to just do this or that. So I'd say yeah,
hmm
we have a decent enough amount of cover right here. Just maybe get a little bit closer to it. So
hmm
you have that one checked off. And are we on high ground?
No.
Okay, so now let's go through and look at maybe some different examples, right? So, would being over here do very much for us? Like, would we be able to see your team
Mm,
from here?
no, that'd be even worse over
Yeah,
there.
probably be worse. Out of position. So, we can probably both agree just by glancing at it. We probably don't want to be over here. Up here, same problem. You can't see your team. Yes, we have a high
hmm
ground. Probably say yes. You have an angle to land nades. But the big thing is that the enemy team can still see you. You don't have a lot of cover to use up here besides just the high ground, but you'd have to back up pretty far for it to act as cover, and then you also would not be able to see your team. Right. So now, what about like here, right? Where,
Right here would be a good one.
mm,
Yeah.
okay, so from here, are we able to see our team?
Yeah,
Mm,
we should be.
can the enemy team see us if we
Uh,
maybe do this?
they shouldn't really be able to.
Until they push in, right?
Yeah.
Um, can the can we land nades and sleeps from up here?
Uh, we should at least be able to land nades, at
Yeah.
least with this splash.
I probably say that this is going to give us a better vantage point than down below because it's easier to land abilities from up higher, right? There's less people in our way, right? Teammates aren't going to get in the way. We can lob them a little bit easier in there, right? For nades. Okay. Do we have a high? Yeah, we have a high ground here, obviously, right? We have cover
hmm
we can use. We have these little tiny pillars, but we have this wall as cover we can use, and we also have
hmm
this wall as cover we can use, where we just go like this. And then also another thing to keep in mind about with positioning that we didn't maybe discuss is kind of thinking ahead to future rotations, right? So
hmm
here, the very start of the fight is going to be happening here, but where's maybe like if the fight were to progress, where's the fight going to go?
It's gonna go around maybe the middle, like
Mm,
toward like around the point.
yeah, so
'Cause-
the fight's maybe going to now, instead of happening up here, the fight's going to progress to where the fight's happening around here or here, right? More
mhm.
so closer to the point, right? Now, if the fight is closer to the point and we were to back up, right? Well,
Mhm.
now we're positioning in like this room where, okay, again, we don't really maybe have great offense. We don't have good angles to land nades. We can plan enemy teams out of line of sight here. We can see our team. We don't have a high ground. We do have cover. So maybe like two of them are not checked off if we're in here. Whereas if we're up
Mhm.
here, for example, well, now all we have to do is if the fight goes to point, we can rotate and just either drop in position here and get the exact same positioning, or we can come up top here and have basically the same things where we can put enemy team out of line of sight using this. We can land nades and sleeps from up here. We can, have a high ground advantage, or even if we wanted to, sometimes we can like rotate back over here. So it just gives us a lot of options. We have the option to be right here, to be over here, to be over on like right here. Whereas if we're on the low grounds here, we have one option, and that is to be like right over here, right? And that's pretty much it, right?
Mhm.
So that's just going a little bit in depth on positioning and just I guess giving you a better idea of like how to think through where you're positioning.
Mhm. I do think I end up positioning back over there.
Hmm.
Or like where you
Just a
said to like
scratch,
top
you'll be
left. I
fine.
do think I end up rotating.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's
Here
just
we're
a
doing
scratch, you'll
some
be fine.
quick scopes when we're like we talked yet about when and when not to quick scope.
I don't think.
Don't think so. Have we talked about just scoping in general? Just
Mm,
when not to use each type of scope?
I think you may have glossed over it real
Gloss
quick.
over. Okay.
I don't think we went in depth.
Yeah. So I think that's possibly yeah, okay. So
Try
why don't we
Diva.
just talk about that real quick then? So we're at 1 minute. We have the time, man. We have you have
Yeah, yeah,
a bunch of sessions. Might as well just cover every base, right?
yeah. Might as
Um,
well.
yeah. Okay. So here is scoping, right? You have
Never
three different
stop
types of
fighting
scoping.
for
You have
what
your
you believe
unscoped,
in.
you have
Hmm.
your hard scope, and you have your quick scope, right? So
Hmm.
when each are applicable, because they're all applicable in different instances, and you need to understand which instances they are applicable so that you're not being inefficient, and then also so you can up the efficiency. So your unscope has the advantage of increased mobility, or sorry, normal mobility, normal visibility, and
Hmm.
it is also a projectile by nature. Your scope reduces
You
mobility,
disappoint me.
reduces visibility, but both of those are also an advantage at longer ranges because it allows more accurate shooting, and then it also turns your shots into hit scan shots, right? And then finally you have your quick scope, which is a hit scan shot. It keeps mobility, keeps visibility, but at the same time is also a slower fire rate than the others, right? Because we have to go in and out every time,
You
right? So
disappoint
those
me.
are the advantages and disadvantages of each. So you might have already guessed for the scope hard, you might have already guessed from the or sorry, the unscope to hard scope, the difference between them is the
Hmm.
range, right? So when we are 10, this is the rough range, right? It can be a little bit around this, right? But when we're
Hmm.
10 meters away from a squishy target, so anything that's not a tank, we are going to unscope. Because tanks have bigger hitboxes, we can go back to like 15 meters, right? And we can unscope on tanks this far. Anything past those two distances should probably be a scope, right? And then that
Hmm.
can be like adjusted a little bit. I probably say like especially like if you're comfortable with your unscope shots, you can just push that back like 5 meters and say okay 15, 20 meters, right? But anything past that you should be scoping because of the advantages it gives, right? Um, Now quick scoping, you don't want to be quick scoping very often because it's a slow fire rate and you're going to be healing slower, right? So
Target
that's why you might not
eliminated.
want to be quick scoping very often, right? Now there are situations where quick scoping is useful. So for example, the biggest one is when you are under pressure. So think for example, you have like a Widowmaker staring at you, but you need to heal this person over there, right?
Hmm.
Well, if you sit here and scope in, well, now Widowmaker headshots you super easily because you're sitting there scoping. Whereas if we don't, right, and we keep our mobility and visibility and we're able to dodge Widow shots while still being able to quick scope on the person who's all a mile away, right? If they're close to
Hmm.
us, we can just unscope, but if they're really far away and we're under pressure, we can quick scope, right? This applies same thing. We're being shot at by Pharah, we're
I
being,
expected more
there's a
from you.
Tracer or Genji on top of us, right? Just anytime we're under pressure and there's somebody far away, we need to heal. And the other time we can quickscope is if, for example, we're trying to cover large distances and trying not to be slow about it. So let's say we're walking back from spawn and our whole team is sitting up there, right?
Hmm.
Well, we don't want to just slowly approach with our scope, right? because then they could run around the corner and then we're
Experience
out of the
always
fight,
wins in
right?
the
And we
end.
don't want to unscope because
Watching
then
your
we
back.
might not be able to heal them and they could die, right? So instead we would quick scope while we're approaching. This way we can heal them until we get close enough to unscope, right? So that's when we use our different types of scoping, right? And that's pretty much it for now.
I, I got you. I can pick that up.
Hmm. So then within our own gameplay, the problem was that we were scoping slash quick scoping in situations where they are too close and not needed.
Mhm.
Take your medicine.
What attackers incoming?
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Okay, so notice like, like here you can just see it, like how we're quick scoping on him when he's like within unscoped range, right? And also in a
Mhm.
situation where we're not under pressure, right? And we do it again right there.
Die either.
Okay, just bad positioning as of the moment. Can't really see very much from here, right? Like, as of the
Mhm.
moment, we can look at the checkboxes and go, okay, as of the moment, we cannot see 1, 2, 3, 4 teammates, right? We can see one single Junkrat and that's it. So, therefore, this is probably pretty bad positioning if you can't see this many teammates. We're also not on an angle in which we can land abilities. We also, just aren't doing anything from here is the big thing, right? We're just not going to be able to
Mhm.
participate from
Take your
this angle.
medicine. Nen.
Nice sleep. Be a little bit more. Oh, I skipped there. Be a little bit more ready with the nade, right? Expect your team to
Mhm.
be following up on it. So just be like lining up the nade and ready to use it on him, because
Mhm.
there that means that he could have potentially gotten out if we didn't get the nade on him. All right, so we do road. No, maybe don't.
You're going to be okay.
It might be in another round.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sure.
Yep. So two things we're looking at right as the moment is just the bad positioning, and then also maybe just the quick scopes.
Mhm.
But that's about it.
It's quiet. This will help.
Okay.
It's quiet.
Okay. So when you land that sleep,
Mhm.
first off, we shoot in there. So somebody else wakes him up, but we also shoot before we nade because we kind of
Mhm.
like hesitate with the nade. We're a little bit slow with it in that situation, especially if you see somebody else wake up. Right, and throw nade immediately. But then also, I might even just throw nade immediately, anyways, just before anybody wakes him up. Right. So if we land that sleep on Reinhardt, right, that's a
It's
massive sleep
quiet.
because that means that if we chucked in a nade like right afterwards, we
Yeah,
could
they had nothing to
potentially,
block it.
yeah, they have nothing to block it. We could potentially, if he had landed perfectly. Now it might be hard. Probably say, yeah, that might be hard to get everybody, but like here in this situation, if we land the nade perfectly, we could potentially get up to 4 people, but I'd probably say more likely we'd just get 3, right? But that's a pretty big anti-nade, right? Whereas here, because we hesitate with it, we don't end up actually
This
getting
will
it in.
help.
It hits the shield. So good sleep, bad follow up to the sleep, right?
Mhm.
You're powered up. Get
Okay.
in there.
So we nano the Zarya. Zarya looks like she's high energy. Nope, she's not high energy. It's just because she's glowing because of the nano. So in this situation, right, it's kind of identifying good nano targets, right? So have we talked about
Mhm.
nano priority at all?
Um, no, I don't think.
No? Okay. So when it comes to nano boosting, we want to come up with in each game, every single game we're in, right? We want to take a look at the characters on our team and think who are the best characters to nano, right? So
Mhm.
you're going to come into this game, the first round, and you do it in between every round too, and you scan your team comp and go, okay, who's the number 1 pick? Who's the number 2 pick, and who's the number 3 pick, right? What this
Mhm.
means is that if number 1 does not have their ultimate, or they're dead, or they're out of position and you need a nano boost, you go to number 2 and then number 3 for the same reason, right? You can put
Mhm.
conditions on on this list. You can do whatever you want with this list. You just want to come up with the list so that you have in your mind who should I be nanoing, right?
Mhm.
So, for example, a 11 charge Zarya is a very bad nano target, right?
Mhm.
Now, if she's a 100 charge Zarya or a 60 charge Zarya, that's a very different story. Now she's a good nano target. Probably wouldn't say the best nano target, but she's a good nano target. So on our team, if you were to just scan through real quick, what would you say the target like other nano priority would be on our team? Again, you can put conditions on it, like if this person in said situation,
Yeah.
or this person if they have that ultimate, right?
I would say Zarya would probably be number one if she had probably like 80 plus energy. If not, it would probably go to Soldier, and then maybe Ball would be third,
Okay.
maybe, depending.
Little bit of a mix up. Soldier Nanovisor is probably like the second most powerful Ana combo you can do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a tad behind Blade, and in fact, it might even be there. It's inching up on it because Nanovisor just got a buff and Nano Blade just got a nerf, right? Soldier
Mm-hmm.
his ultimate getting a buff, and then Genji his Blade getting a nerf, right? So that means that Nanovisor is in very close competition for being the most powerful combo you can do with Nano in the game, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Nano Soldier would be your number one pick, right? High Charge Zarya would be number two, and then Ball would be number three. Specifically when he's in there actually able to do things, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
thinking.
so that would be your order, right? If Soldier's dead, out of position, or he doesn't have his ultimate, then you'd go to Zarya. If Zarya does not have energy, you'd go to Ball, right? So it just kind of you go down the list and the situations. Here, probably say, Soldier's pretty close to his ultimate. He doesn't have it yet, so maybe we would want to use Nano only as like maybe a last resort, like if we feel like we need it.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, like here in the situation, I might
It's
even
quiet
like
time.
go for somebody else
This
besides
will help.
Zarya if we don't see she has energy. Are you aware of how to identify if she has energy or not?
Uh, no,
Yeah.
really, not unless they
She
tell me in chat.
yeah, she starts her character model will glow when she has high energy. So notice right
Oh,
now,
okay.
we can watch for it a little bit. Notice how right now she's not glowing at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas let's skip around and see when she does if she does get energy at some point. And I can just show you, okay, it's dead. Okay, no energy. Okay, and then they swap to Reinhardt, so maybe we have to go back. Oh yeah, 56 energy. Notice now, or maybe it doesn't do it with 56. Okay, well apparently it doesn't do it with for 56. Maybe it's like 60 plus. But let's see.
There might be another example in another game you might be able to find.
Yeah, trying to see. Oh yeah, there 60. Oh, now you see it, right?
Okay, yeah,
Mm.
okay.
So she will progress. I think it's 60 or over. She will start to glow and it will progressively get brighter and brighter. So like
Mm-hmm.
60, you see the glow, and then like 100, it would be like a pretty bright glow, right? So that's how you can tell if she is high energy or not. And if she's below, if she's not glowing at all, probably not a great nano target, right?
It's
Mm-hmm.
just a script. Name.
Right, so we can go back to the situation.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
You're powered up. Get
Yeah,
in there.
she also just like wasn't in immediate danger as well.
Scratch. You'll be fine.
Okay, kind of just chucking in nade. Did that sleep just go through him?
I think it clipped the Rhine shield, like the
Yeah.
last like frame. Huh?
Might be right. No, it's just like just barely. I feel like that.
No,
Oh,
right
okay.
through his
Well,
elbow. It
yeah,
almost looks like.
yeah. Just by a hair.
Experience
All right.
tranquility.
So missing some abilities. Okay.
I'm under attack.
Yay. Missing abilities again, right? Just make sure we're
Mhm.
concentrating our abilities and how we're using them, like here. So I guess, sorry, never
I'm
mind. This
under
one we
attack.
landed. That was a pretty good nade, right? And then
Mhm.
sleep, we launch in and we miss sleep again. Right, so just we're missing just by barely.
Tactical visor activated.
Injustice reigns from above.
Listen.
Okay, let's see. Did we rotate it all? Okay, no, we're sitting here. Okay, so positioning check off again. Okay. Do we
Okay.
obviously we have a high ground.
Yeah, we have high
Can we
ground,
can see
can
our
see
team?
teammates,
Go ahead. You can check it out.
enemies. Yeah, I mean we are pretty open to enemies, so I guess I should probably be a little more to the left on like that kind of like to the left of the Zarya. I guess I should be maybe on like that little like right there. That's probably where I should be at.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Do we have are we able to land nades and sleeps good from here?
Not really.
You know, we
No.
better than on the low ground, but
Yeah.
like you said, not really. Now, let's say from here, through this angle, could we maybe do that a bit better?
Yeah, because we could probably surprise them with a quick nade
Yep.
and get
And
behind their
so
shield.
this would be an off angle, right? So we position
Mhm.
here, we can see team, enemy team can't see us. We have high ground positioning, we have cover. They walk in, we want to go get off a nade real quick. We walk through, shoot, just throw it over shield. Boom, big nade, back up, right? So this is probably one of the most perfect positioning spots in the game for Ana because there's almost like you check off every single box with almost
Mhm.
no flaw in it, right?
I got you.
This is probably one of the best spots you could be in Ana, right? A lot of other positioning maybe leaves out like one or two boxes, like and you struggle to get every single one checked off, but this one checks off every single one.
Get real.
Okay, so we do move over here, which is good. It's just a little bit late. Oh, missed some shots. Don't pay attention to his health bar there because he auto heals anyways, and we drop
Mhm.
to like off of our perfect positioning to
Yeah.
heal him when he
Get
doesn't need
real.
healing.
Yeah.
Right. On top of that, yeah, I don't know. I would probably just let him be there. I would honestly, if he was critical, I would sacrifice. I don't have
Nade.
nade. I would sacrifice
Oh,
nade over dropping, but we don't
okay.
even have nade. So the big thing
Get
there is
back
just
in.
paying attention to his health bar. Chucking a sleep there on Reinhardt. That's a perfect look for opportunities like this where like you can guaranteed land a sleep because you know where Reinhardt's going, right? You
Mhm.
see he's going there. When he hits the wall, he's stunned there. You know he's not going to be shielding you, right? So if we just fire in a sleep here after Reinhardt and he hits the wall, it's a just very easy sleep. It's not going to miss, right? Just because he's
Mhm.
standing still there, right? So I'd also chuck in a nade after our Reinhardt here too, right? So look at this nade right here. We know Reinhardt's in that room. Mercy flies over 2. Right now we chuck in a nade. By the time Mercy gets here, it hits 3 people, right? It
Mhm.
hits Reinhardt, Mercy, Ryan, right? So big nade opportunity. Make sure looking for antis and value out of our nades. Uh, so not good positioning, lack of carry value with abilities, and then just some like overhealing and stuff like that in the fight. And that was the big thing. I'd probably say so far the big thing has been positioning.
Mhm.
I should know.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
No need to mess about.
You're going to be okay.
Enemy turret destroyed.
My
Name.
will made real. I'm sorry.
All right, let's rewatch that for half a second.
My
Name.
will made real.
Unfortunate.
Sorry.
Once again, notice that we are slow to follow up with the
Name.
nade. So here,
Mhm.
who wakes her up? Someone else wakes her up? The Moira or wakes her up, right?
Mhm.
I just toss in the nade immediately, right? Just because you know that it's very likely that she gets woken up here because your whole
Mhm.
team is already shooting at her and looking at her. So just pretty much sleep and then nade immediately is pretty much what you'd
I'm
go for
sorry.
there, so it doesn't just get eaten.
Think you make this
And make sure we're paying attention to our Genji as we just kind of weren't looking at him there.
This will heal you.
And then, oh, okay. So here, peeking cover a little bit much.
Mhm.
We get down to 60 HP and then we don't immediately back up. We go for the sleep we miss. Yeah, so there I guess like we stray a little bit far away from cover. We don't back up to cover when it's needed. We don't need ourselves fast enough. Right, so just a couple of tiny things that could have kept us alive there.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine. Die feeder.
Okay. Now it's a situation where need isn't necessary because we can just request healing and have Moira heal us, and she's like right next
Mhm.
to us, right? And then that saves us our, biggest ability, right? So just let Moira heal you up, request healing. It's a good habit to be in. Gets you healing faster.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Target. Eliminate enemy
ready.
turret.
Right. When you see some people grouped up like this, I just be chucking in a nade, right? So like you see Torben and and Soldier on top of each other,
Target.
chuck it
Eliminate
in there.
enemy turret destroyed. That
Oh,
has
very
been
massive,
Mortland.
right? So that's some good
Surrender.
ability usage. What do we
Target.
do with sleep though? I
Enemy
missed that.
turret destroyed.
I tried to go for the Diva, and she matrixed it.
Target.
Yep.
Eliminate enemy
ready.
turret destroyed.
Yep. So just in general, make sure we're intentionally trying to get around abilities and ultimates that can, or abilities that can stop us, right? So think, for example, with defeat Diva defense matrix, you have a ton of things that you can do to get around Diva defense matrix. You can
Mhm.
wait till she's dead, wait till she's out of mech. You can wait until she is on the other side of the map. You can, or just out of range, right? She only has a 10-meter range on it. You can do it when she's not looking at you, when she's not paying attention. You can do it when she does not have any defense matrix left. When you can do it when she's just put defense matrix down, because it has defense matrix does have a cooldown, right, of 2 seconds before she can put it back up. So you have a lot of different options of how to get nades and sleeps past Diva. The big thing is just, if she's looking at you and she has defense matrix and she's within range to stop you, don't just chuck an ability straight at her face because she's gonna eat it, right?
Mhm.
So we've done that a couple times, and then it's just wasted abilities. So just make sure we're not doing that, right? And then that saves us some abilities. Kind of same thing with Reinhardt in his shield, right? If we can get around this shield, we can wait till he puts us down, we can, wait till he's dead or out of position or whatever, yada yada, take off angles to get around it, right? But when he's staring at you and he sees nade coming and sleep coming and he knows that you're looking for it, don't just throw it at him because he's gonna block it, right?
Mhm.
So kind of
That
same
has
thing
been
there, but
Mortland.
really good nade, right? And then notice how that opens up the fight, gets us our first kill, gets us 2 kills, right? So essentially we just secured 2 kills there, right? As Ana.
This will help.
Okay, nades for healing are needed when people are in danger and they're low, right? Have we discussed that?
Uh, Probably.
Yeah. So let's repeat it, right? There's a difference between being low and being in danger, right?
Mhm.
Being low, being critical, right, is low. We could be critical and be over here. Are we in danger?
Not really, no.
Okay. And we could be full HP and be, you know, we as Ana could be full HP and be standing like right here. Are we in danger?
Oh, yeah, we're in a little bit of danger because of the
Mm.
soldier there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Soldier
and
and
then
Moira,
Moira.
right? So there's a difference between the two, and as when we are, throwing healing needs, we need
Mhm.
them to be both. Because if we heal when people are not low, well, then they don't
Mhm.
need healing if they don't need healing, and if they are not in danger, then there's no reason to use the nade when you could just normal heal them up, right? Here we use self nade on us and Genji. Are we in danger?
Not really,
Are
because
we
soldiers are
okay?
more likely to target Genji.
Yeah. Are we low?
I wouldn't really say low
Mm.
now.
So this is a situation where maybe a self nade isn't particularly needed when we
Mhm.
could get a probably a greater value out of using this time to shoot at the soldier with a sleep dart, or to just shoot at him normally, or to nade the soldier,
This
right?
will help.
Because then he just dies immediately. Positioning wise, make sure we're not running out to the open, because we just kind of run out to the open there.
I'm on fire.
Need a duck.
Nano boost is ready to deploy. You. This will only hurt.
Okay, so we have a different team composition. Who are our nano targets now? What's our list?
It should be Genji, then probably Reinhardt, and then probably Diva would be third, I imagine.
So here you again remember that it's just so for the clarity of yourself, it's Genji with Blade, right? Without
Yeah,
Blade, he's not going to be as good,
yeah.
right? So you'd have Genji with Blade as number 1, right? Reinhardt is number 2. I probably say as number 3, you would say probably yes with the Diva, particularly because of the fact that they have an enemy Diva. Now, if they did not have a Diva on the enemy team, I would probably say that Nano High Noon would be superior to a Diva and possibly even a Reinhardt, depending upon the situation, right?
Mhm.
It would really depend situationally. Like if your Reinhardt's low and is brawling, then he'd probably get more value out of it. But if Reinhardt is, if you are not like in the middle of the fight and want a nano boost, then McCree can just high noon from any distance, right? So it depends on like which one is better in the scenario. So besides that, right? Then Moira as well would with Coalescence would be decent. I probably say that would come in around. I'd probably say that would be like the last resort on the team, but it's still not also terrible. It would be an okay option. So you have a lot of decent targets to go for. She would just be the last one.
The power of destruction.
This will only hurt for a minute. Shukran.
Yeah, right there. I was gonna nano Genji, and then he just.
I heard you. I will keep you
So now in
here.
this fight, we would go to number 2 then.
Muchachera.
Okay. We talked about overhealing.
We. I think we may have glossed over it.
Also, right? Well, how many sessions have we done? And I've glossed over so many things. Okay.
Uh, I just because I think we've done like Zen, so I don't think we really
Yeah.
like
Oh,
really
okay.
went
Okay.
over like overhealing and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. You are correct then. I just would have forgotten that because I forget within that week and a half what characters we've gone
Sorry,
over.
it's all right.
So in any case, right, overhealing is anytime you are healing somebody and they're already full HP or like 90 plus percent
So
HP,
like our
right?
Rhine right there, pretty much.
So yeah, like here, right, you can see when we heal Reinhardt, right, and we see this shot's an overheal shots because he is full
Mhm,
HP. Therefore, bullet just goes through him and does absolutely nothing, right? And
mhm,
then that's wasted ammo. That's especially wasted time where we could be reloading. We could be looking for somebody else to heal. We could be landing abilities. We could be paying attention to our surroundings, right? So we want to make sure we are paying attention to, the health bars of people and not healing when healing's not needed because we do it a bunch here and we also did it previously too. So that's one
mhm,
overhealing shot, right?
I will
That
keep
that
you
one's
healed.
okay, right? 2 overhealing shot, right? 3 overhealing shot. We reload, right? 4 overhealing shots,
Muchachera.
right? 5 overhealing shot because I mean that one is
mhm,
like down like 3 HP, right? 6 overhealing shot. That one's fine. 7 overhealing shot. 8 overhealing shot, right?
I've seen worse. You're going to live.
Guess that one's like kind of okay.
Proclaim a holy.
Those are fine, right? Diva's low. So, now we do some fine ones. Nade, definitely unnecessary in that situation, right? Nobody's low or in danger, and we heal Nade.
Group up with me.
I'm under attack. This will restore you.
Okay. Notice
Group
that
up with
we're
me.
we're slow to, Diva's in danger over here, and we're slow to rotate
mhm,
over to Diva, right? Make sure
This
we're
will
paying attention to
restore.
our Diva and going and helping faster and sooner there, right? On top of that, Reinhardt, like the second you turn around that corner,
This will
mhm.
probably would be a
restore
good
you.
idea, right? Because look at how many people he's brawling with, right? That Nano Reinhardt would be massive, right? Into this, he would keep him alive. It would allow him to get in very easy swings, right? So Nano Reinhardt here would get a ton of
Yeah,
value, but we hesitate with it and we shoot him instead. On
Nade.
top of that, Nade would also be very massive in that instance since they're all grouped up. So here, we toss in a Nade that's a 3-man anti-Nade, right? Mercy, now
Nade.
it's a 4-man anti-Nade, right?
Help me.
And we don't go for the anti. We
The
don't
pain
go
is
for the,
coming.
we go for the anti now, but it's a 1-man. We've already lost the fight, essentially, right? We also don't go for the nano, right? So make sure we're using our abilities and ultimates, otherwise they don't do anything.
My. Hello there.
Greetings.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay, so Diva being, as of the moment, okay, so we just swap up some characters, right? So Junkrat's not gonna be good, Widow's not gonna be good. So we have Reinhardt as number 1, Diva as number 2, Nano Coalescence as number 3, right? Would be our new priority with our nano boosts. Here we go for Nano on Diva when it's probably not a good idea to go for Nano on Diva. Let's list off a couple of reasons. So first off, she's number 2 when
mhm,
we could be going for Reinhardt in this fight. Secondly,
You're powered up.
the
Get in
fight
there.
has not begun, right? Diva's the only character who is near anybody, right? We have Widowmaker who's on the other side of the map. We have us who, are we anywhere close to the fight? Like if our team
Mm.
pushes around the corner, we're not in a position to do anything, right? We can't see anything at all. So we can't land nades, we can't heal, we can't do nothing, right? So we are not, the fight has not begun yet, and we are not ready for a fight yet. We're initiating the fight with our Nano Boost, right? When nobody else is able to follow up on it. On top of that, it's just, Diva wasn't low. Diva's just shooting at a Reinhardt, probably like the worst target for her to be shooting at, right? So basically everything's adding up to probably don't want to be going for that Nano Boost.
I got you.
Get here.
Okay, pretty good nade.
I will keep you healed.
Dropping from high ground unnecessarily, just keep that high ground, right? No reason to drop from it. Okay, prioritize the healing on your
I will
Diva,
keep you
right?
healed.
Watch her health bar. Here she's critical. We can see that she's critical here, right? And we should be healing her, not shooting at a Reinhardt and his shield, right? Whenever people need healing, healing comes as the first priority, right? That applies to nade, that applies to heals, right? So if somebody's in need of healing, that's who you should be healing, right? And if healing is not needed, then you can damage.
Enemy turret. This is my will.
Heal up.
Okay, when throwing nades, right? Nades are very, very important, right? They are how you get value and do things on Ana, right? It's your carrying potential, right? A 6-man anti-nade in a lot of situations is going to be more powerful than your Nano Boost, right? And therefore you have essentially an ultimate on a cooldown. And then sleep also is very powerful because you can shut down another ultimate with it, right? That's essentially, right, you counteracting an ultimate is essentially the power level of an ultimate, right? So
Yeah.
you have your ultimate, you have two abilities that can potentially at their max have the value of an ultimate, right? So you, as Ana, essentially have three ultimates, yet we're not really utilizing the three ultimates to the best of their capabilities, right? So, for example, here when we toss in the nade, yeah, I mean, like, decent nade, we get, what, we heal somebody who doesn't need the healing and we get 1 purple, right? Now, okay, wouldn't that be, 4 times more valuable if it was a 4-man anti-nade, right?
Yeah.
So, and not even that, right? Like 1 person who's purple can get healed up very easily, but when you're laying a 4-man anti-nade, that's not just 4 times as valuable, that's over 4 times as valuable, because that means that nobody can heal anybody, right? Reinhardt just alone can probably stay alive pretty easily, whereas if you anti 4 people, everyone's dying, probably, most likely, right? So, in any case, wait for them to group up. Don't toss it in there and then, like, expect them to, expect it to do great things, right? Wait for them to group up and then toss in the nade. So, like, we can look at this fight and go, okay, well, do people group up at any point during the fight? Okay, we toss it in 2
Right about
seconds later,
there.
right?
Yeah.
3-man anti-nade, right? Which is different than 1-man anti-nade, right? We toss it in, here, 3-man anti-nade, right? Toss it in over here, 2-man anti-nade, right? We can you just wait for people to group up, and that's when you throw it. 3-man anti-nade, right? So it's just looking for opportunities like that, right? So by this time we're dead, but another 3-man anti-nade, right? So people are grouped up over and over and over again, but we're not going for the big nades, right? And we want to wait for those situations to land the big nades. Hi. Whiffing the nade. Probably say in that instance we just got out because they weren't good at finishing us off. If we were at a higher rank, I'd
Yeah.
probably say that was a situation where you probably should have let them kill you.
Nano boost is charging.
Good sleep.
Patched up. Walk it off.
Good nade.
Get back in the fight.
Coalescent is ready. Advance with me. I'm restoring you. Surrender to my will.
Okay.
Taking damage.
Go to sleep. Take your medicine. You're powered up. Get in there.
That was actually a very good nano boost. That was like I thought we missed it for a moment there, but that was like just barely on time to nano.
If it makes you feel any better, I tried to give it to the Rhine.
Oh,
You're powered up.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah, I think I need to mess with the nano sensitivity a little bit, but
have you?
I
Yeah, where do you have it at the moment?
um
You're powered up. Get in there.
see, I have it set to just 100.
100. Yep, probably lower that. Did we talk about like Zenyatta orb sensitivity?
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
we
see,
talked
so
about
it's the same.
Zenyatta.
It's essentially the same thing. I'd probably go to around like 60 to 80 with it. It would be my recommendation. Like I'd probably say like 60, maybe like 60 to 70 would be like a good range, right? Somewhere around that, right?
Okay.
But you know,
Got it to
here I'm
70.
not even sure how the heck we nano her when she's like around the wall.
That's why I said I was looking to nano the Rhine. I don't know. Maybe Uncle Jeff gave that one to me.
Feeling sleepy? That's fine.
Probably finished off the baby Diva.
Fire.
Pretty easy target to
Out of
finish
my
off.
way.
Miss nade, watch the res.
Power of
Alright.
distraction.
You have my thanks. Get here.
Attackers incoming. Defend
I'm under
objective
attack.
A.
Just request healing, right? No reason
Mhm.
to waste your ultimate ability, right? When you
Mhm.
have, you know, support like an inch from
Get
you,
here.
right? Because we are
Hello
neither
there.
really low or in danger.
I will keep you healed.
Okay, a bunch of overhealing shots, right?
Mhm.
Just look to reload during that time.
You're going to be okay. Nim.
Okay. Look for nade much more often, right? Essentially,
Mhm.
you're looking for an anti-nade anytime you have it, and then the only time you go for the healing is if it's healing's needed, right? But every fight you're looking for the anti-nades because that's how you get value, right? So for
You're
Mhm.
going
example
to be
here,
okay.
right, maybe instead of just sitting here, right, we could be using this time to rotate over and then like looking for something like that real quick, right, where we can chuck in an anti-nade and get 3 people with it, right?
Yeah.
Just looking for stuff like that, right? Whereas no, and that again, 3 people, 4 people, right? 4 people grouped up, 5 people grouped up, right? Probably that
Mhm.
landing it right there might get you like a 5-man anti-nade, and that just completely opens up the fight, right? Even if we tossed it in right here, we could probably still do it from the front line because Reinhardt moves over to the side, right? Yet this is the time in which we're backing up, and we don't, you know, we're not requesting healing here. We didn't go for the nade. We go for an unnecessary healing nade. I think we might be
Mhm.
aiming for the Reinhardt there. Reinhardt needs it. So there we just throw it too low, right? And then
I
that
think
means
I
like,
was expecting him to back up, and I think I was going to try and hit both of them with it. I think
yeah.
that's why I did
And then,
that.
you know, in this situation, we just end up missing it. So I'd probably just aim
Mhm.
it closer to the Reinhardt, right?
Heal up.
Uh-oh. No, almost no ammo
I
when
require
Reinhardt's low.
assistance.
Lights out.
Real made real.
Die fever. Settle down, old man.
Okay.
You're
So
powered up.
once in a
Get
while,
in
just
there.
make sure that we're reloading when there's nothing
Mhm.
else to do, right? Like in that room, we've seen a couple instances like this where we're just kind of sitting at
Mhm.
1 ammo for a little while, right?
Let's
When we probably should have been reloading.
let's say
You're
real
powered up.
quick.
Get in there.
I'd say I think you saw the hesitation there for a second. Should I have rotated around the left and maybe I know it would have been a longer rotation, but should I have like maybe went to go take the high ground on the left, or would that have
At
been
that time.
kind of like a yeah
Um, I
yeah, like
think
a
it depends
You're
upon
powered up.
the
Get
like
in
how
there.
much time you have. I
Mhm.
probably say that if you had the time to go for it, then sure. But here in this
Mhm.
instance, we had like in the time that we
Die
had,
fever.
right?
Settle down,
During our
old
stead, we
man.
have like 1, 2, 3, 4,
You're powered up.
5.
Get in there.
60
I
seconds
think you're fine to
remaining.
stay main. I don't think it's like either or. I think it's maybe okay to go for it, but I'd say you're just fine to sit main there. Prioritize healing Reinhardt when he's critical, right?
Mhm.
Here we see Reinhardt's critical through the walls, right? And we don't do anything to help him out, right? We also missed the nade
I have sighted
anyways.
the enemy.
So we let Reinhardt die, we missed the nade.
Damn. I will keep you here. Help me! This will only hurt for a minute.
Okay, we've talked about how to tell whether or not you've won or lost fights, right?
Yeah.
So, in this situation, where we, press this and we back up a little bit. So currently it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and almost 6, right? Versus a 1, 2, 3, 4, right? On top of this, they have Symmetra Wall up, and they have Mercy Valk active, so they have a player advantage. They have a 2 ultimate above us advantage, and they're going to be getting their last player back sooner than us. Probably say this is an instance where we back up a little bit and play at the very least we're at a massive disadvantage, right?
Mhm.
And the maximum this is a lost fight, so we probably should be backing up here, not like pushing in really aggressively. And now that pick changes a little bit, but it just gets pulled back just instantly as well.
This will only hurt for a minute.
And then that might result in us staggering here.
30 seconds remaining.
Now we do get bailed out by
Yeah.
that ult.
Ned,
Okay, pretty massive. When you throw nades, don't throw nades straight at people, right? You don't want to hit somebody directly with a nade, right?
Quiver splash.
Yeah. What happens if if we throw this directly at Hog and we miss? Where does a nade go?
Wait, I don't get what you mean.
If we throw this at Hog and he dodges
Yeah.
it or we miss it, where does the nade hit or land?
Probably just like right behind him and hits nobody, really.
What happens if we aim at the ground, right? Well, now even if we were to miss him, we still hit him, right? And on
Yeah.
top of that, that means that he doesn't body block it from hitting people behind him. So here, for
Ned,
example,
Mhm.
right, if we're trying to hit as many people as possible, right,
Mhm.
I might try to chuck it. If I know everyone's on the right side, I might try to chuck it. Like instead of chucking it at Hog here, I might
Yeah, just a
maybe
little gap.
yeah, maybe that little gap to the right, or I might like jump up and try to like chuck it like a little bit over, because now we landed right here, and then that's potentially 1, 2, maybe Reinhardt on a Mercy there, so that's like potentially 4-man nade in
Mhm.
comparison to the 2-man nade, right, that we land, right?
Mhm.
this is going
So
to hurt.
and then even like 2 seconds later, that would have been a massive nade, right? 4-man anti-nade, right, that we miss out on just because we didn't land it correctly, right? So just looking to land better nades.
Thank you. Go. I'll keep you healed. The pain is gone.
Oops, I missed skip there.
Go. I'll keep you healed.
Yeah, so first off, we chuck it when there's like 2 tanks straight in front of us. A lot of times, don't throw it when there's somebody like right in front of us, because then it can end up just hitting them. Right. In fact, here I don't even know how. I think Zarya was maybe full HP like the second we threw it, and then that spike goes through her. So
Go.
here
I'll keep you healed.
we throw it. I don't even know how does that go through her there, because she's not, because she's full. She's down
I don't
HP.
know. I just.
I don't know. I'm. She's down HP. They should have healed her. I'm confused as to how that goes through her there. Because the moment we throw it, she
I'll keep you
is
healed.
down HP. She's down HP this whole time, and we throw it and it goes straight through Zarya. So I'm confused as to that, how that works. But then in any case, I don't even know where Nate is.
The pain.
I
Okay,
think it's
land
just
nade there,
them.
yeah. So on top of that, we also missed the nade to where like, okay, right here,
Yeah,
five man five
three.
man nade, right? Three-man anti, two-man
Oh,
heal,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Too many. Oh.
Five-man nade, right? But instead we hit one person because we chuck it too far, right? We also stand next to our team, inside of our teammate. That should have been stolen by Zarya, but it wasn't for some reason. I don't know. That was either a bug or maybe like I don't even know what that was that let it go past Zarya. But
Welcome to Silver.
yeah, in any case, make sure we're stepping to the left or right of our teammates, right? Instead of just
Mhm.
throwing it through them, right? Look to like go over here or over here, right? Um, and then yeah, to just make sure looking for bigger nades, because we can get so much value there if it's a 5 times the value plus, maybe even more than that,
10
if we land it
seconds
on all those
remaining.
people, and that just wins the fight outright because we're getting everybody in the nade.
Mhm. I also whiffed a bunch of shots there.
We're also prioritizing damaging. Right, notice here again, like we prioritize damaging over healing, right? So prioritizing the damage on the hog when, maybe shooting at hog isn't a super high priority for us. This might be a time to reload rather than just shooting at
Go.
hog.
I'll keep you
Right, we
healed.
check on the
The
nade. Now
pain is
we don't
gone.
have ammo for when Junkrat needs ammo, right? Shooting at enemies is a very low priority, right? There's a ton of things we can do that is a higher priority than shooting at people, right? We could be using abilities, we could be reloading, we could be healing teammates, we could be doing, paying attention to environment. There's a lot of things we can do. Shooting enemies is a pretty low priority. Now, there's also a priority within shooting at enemies, right? Have we talked about target priority at all? Because I think we did that like on Zenyatta, maybe.
I mean, is it still the same thing for
Yep.
like with Ana?
I'd
Still
probably say
basically, I
I'd
guess.
probably say it to an even more extreme extent because Ana doesn't shoot at enemies very much, but she should
Yeah.
almost never be shooting at enemy tanks and their shields, which we've done that
Mm-hmm.
a decent bit as we've just been spamming at the enemy tanks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that wastes a lot of time that we could be doing other things. Though there are, of course are situations where we would, like such as if we're one-on-one dueling them, or
Mm-hmm.
if they're like really low or out of position, then yeah, maybe we can shoot at them. But we spent a lot of time shooting at them, and then notice here like where we wasted all that ammo, and then now we're at 0 ammo when Junkrat needs our help, right? And then therefore that leads to Junkrat
10
dying,
seconds
right?
remaining.
And then again, notice how us we missed the sleep, right? But notice how us going for the damage shots lets Reinhardt die when we have Reinhardt and Hanzo who are both critical, and we're
Mm-hmm.
going for the damage shots, right? In case you weren't aware, you can see like Reinhardt's critical. Even if you can't see the critical
Yep.
sign on him, you can
Mm-hmm.
tell based off of his coloring, right? Because he's a dark shade of orange right now. When somebody is full HP, they will be green, and when they are just a little bit down, they will be yellow, and then when they are very, very low, they will get a very dark shade of orange, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here you can tell that he's low, even without seeing critical, because of the dark shade of orange, right? So we will let Reinhardt die.
Get back in the fight. This will only
Okay.
hurt for a minute.
I'll miss a couple shots there, but besides that massive nade. Oh, very
This is
nice.
wasted on the... Taking damage. You're covered.
Okay. Who are Nano Priorities? We're on a different team comp again.
Let's see. I think first would probably be Monkey, and then I guess Ball, and then third would be, I guess, just situational.
Hmm.
But I guess
Probably, yeah.
probably Hanzo, probably maybe if
Hmm.
you just want to go
Yeah.
straight up.
I'd probably say, yeah, you're pretty much right, right? Monkey would definitely be the number one. Ball would be like an okay target, and then Hanzo would be like kind of like a last resort if like we have nothing else to do with it, because he's not a great target. He's like on the like very meh,
Hmm.
scale, but he's still doable like if you need it, right? So,
Yeah.
um, just paying attention to that. See if we use it well here. Okay, every fight, what angle have we come from every single fight?
We went down mid.
Okay. Down mid, are we able to land nades and sleeps?
Not usually,
Not
no.
usually. Okay. Can the enemy team see us?
Yeah.
And can we see our team?
If they're on the high ground, no.
Okay. Do we have high ground positioning?
No.
Okay.
So in this case, yeah, we can't see them.
Now up here, can we land nades and sleeps?
Hmm.
Can we, can the enemy team see us?
Uh, yes, but if we back up, we can quickly change that.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe we can also take angles-ish like this, right, where maybe
Hmm.
less people can see us, right, and we also have high ground that can act as cover, right? So,
Hmm.
can we see our team from up here?
We should be able to, yeah,
Yeah,
from up there, yeah.
we can see people over here just by dropping if we need to. We can see anybody
Hmm.
over here, up top, right? We pretty much see everything from up here. Um, do we have high ground? Yeah, obviously we have high ground. I don't even need Asa
Yeah.
there, right? And therefore, because we're on high ground, have cover usage, right? So
Hmm.
probably this would be a much better position, and we have very easy access to it because of just the lift, right next to it. But every fight, we've just been coming down main, right?
Hmm.
10 seconds
Oh.
remaining.
Maybe walk towards him a little bit, but besides that, I think we were already walking towards him before the pulse hit.
Yeah.
Die feeder.
Uh,
Enemies in our orbit.
Feeling sleepy?
Okay, nano priority. Who would be your nano priority here? Just trying to get you into
um,
the idea of doing it every round because we've had a different team composition every round
yeah.
here.
Um, I guess probably Bastion would be one, probably,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
considering we have a comp built around him.
Yep. Pretty
Um,
much with or without ultimate. Yep.
I'd say Bastion and then probably Sig because of this kit would probably be better with it than Orisa. And then probably, I guess, depending on the situation, probably either Kree or Orisa would be
I'd
third.
probably, take a look at the enemy team comp, right? The only thing they have to go up against a McCree High Noon would be a Reinhardt Shield, which
Mhm,
if they're out in the open and you have a Nano Boost that speeds up his acquisition of targets, probably is going to shred through them pretty
mhm,
easily. So if they're, for example, right, if your McCree is sitting on a high ground and their entire team is standing on the open, right, it'd be situational because of course you need to be able to identify, is this a good time for McCree to be high nooning, right? Because particularly McCree, they need to be out in the open where they can't just run away very easily, right? But I'd probably say
mhm,
McCree High Noon would be coming in as probably number 2. But again, it'd be situational of like, is it a good time for McCree to High Noon? And then number 3, like you said, I'd probably say would be Sigma, then Orisa, right? Would be
mhm.
maybe a fourth, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're TPing around.
Mhm.
You're covered.
Say
Oh,
if you
nice,
pause
nice
right
sleep.
here, if you pause right here, you'll see what I did there.
Yep.
I paid attention to one of your honor reviews.
This
And
will
you
only
get a
hurt
whole
for a bit.
tracker.
Yep, and then you just got a 3-man nade off of it, so very, very nice. Good ability usage there. Though probably want to be getting heal. I think we also like stood still while an orb hit us from very
Nay.
far away.
Mhm.
Right, so make sure we're not just
Yeah.
standing still while an orb hits us. Or
This
like
will only
there we
hurt for
walked
a
into it,
minute.
right? So just pay attention, and then that saves us 120 HP. Oh, so actually we positioning here. I didn't. Yeah, like you said, we did position up here. I didn't even notice that,
Yeah.
but good
Yeah.
positioning. All right, we did adjust it a little bit.
My healing
Double kill.
I
Okay,
missed a
very, very
lot of
nice.
shots there.
And then notice the people who died, right? Let me check. Oh, where did I need to go?
This will
Right,
only
the
hurt
people
for
who
a
died
minute.
are the people who were needed, right?
Mhm.
McCree, Symmetra, right?
And Ryan.
McCree, Symmetra, right?
Mhm.
So and essentially the people that we notice like consistently, the people that we've landed a big nade, the people that we've naded have died, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
ده
Good
هيكون
nade
مؤلم.
again, good shots, good mechanics.
اتعلم من الألم.
Yeah. I'm trying to fix my sensitivity with her a little bit because I have been missing a lot of shots with her.
No, I mean I think honestly we've been hitting quite a
Get
bit,
here.
right? Most of the mechanics has not been a big problem.
Mhm.
I'd probably say like the other
Yeah.
things, but I'd say the other things within mechanics that are not just your pure how we shoot are bigger problems than just our mechanics themselves, right? Of how we aim.
Hold up now.
No one needs anything reload, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Request healing, make sure we're not sitting at 180. Oh,
Bedtime.
very nice. Okay, so our accuracy with abilities has gone up a little bit. And also probably noting that the high ground positioning has benefited that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still have use for you.
Oh, chucked into a wall. Make sure watching for the
Mhm.
walls.
Yeah.
Take your medicine.
Oh, possibly a big nade here if we're looking for it. Go for the nade. A little hesitant with the nade, and then therefore we chuck it like we had it
Mhm.
like 6 seconds ago. Probably could have gotten a lot of
ده
value out of it.
هيكون مؤلم. Get back in the
Okay.
fight.
So maybe don't. Probably, hopefully don't go for an ult here.
And right here, I was like, what the hell do I do here in this
Yeah.
situation?
Well,
I,
I'll probably say in this instance it's actually I don't. That's actually maybe winnable if we had dropped. So if we had dropped here, right? Let's go back a couple
Mhm.
seconds. This is
Mhm.
potentially winnable because Sigma does get the soldier. So if we had dropped, we have at the moment we do have nade in a moment here, right? We can keep Reinhardt's on Sigma and that's it, right? So essentially here we can 3v1 Reinhardt, right? Just heal up Sigma and nade Reinhardt to where it's a 3v1, then we kill Reinhardt, right? Then with a Nano Sigma repush point and it's a 3v3, right? And you have an ultimate, right, on your Sigma. So that, and your
Mhm.
Mercy also has her ults, right? So this is, I probably would say, potentially winnable if we approach it like that, right? So it's just kind of the decision making of drop on
Well,
Reinhardt, right? And then,
before you play it again, I do nano someone, and it ends up being like a 500 IQ play. Just Like
So like,
it's the stall of stalls.
My servants never die.
This is going to hurt. You're powered up. Get in there.
Helden sterben nicht.
Yeah, Mercy's able to just stall her for the longest time.
yeah.
Taking damage.
I don't know. I might wait until like I wouldn't say it's like a terrible idea, but I might wait to see if like she actually needs it. Like for example, if she got low HP, then maybe
Hmm.
you need it. But because I feel like she could have just stalled it with normal Valk without the nano
Hmm.
boost, because she doesn't really seem to be shot at like a ton. Like if we were to watch from her perspective, right?
Heroes
Like
never die.
does it? Oh, that's the wrong one. Enemy mercy. Right? Like does the nano boost really keep her alive like that much more? Like we watch her come in. She goes for the
You're
stall.
powered up.
Okay,
Get in
no
there.
one's shooting at her. No one's shooting at her. No one's shooting at her. No one's shooting at her. Right? No one's shooting at her. One shot. Right? So by the time the nano
Yeah.
boost runs out, she took 0 damage anyways. Right?
Hmm.
So essentially, I would say that that nano boost is probably wasted because it didn't really do anything. It didn't act as healing. It didn't
Hmm.
get you damage reduction. It didn't get you a damage boost. Right? So everything that nano provides, it didn't really do very much. So in that situation, you would wait. You would maybe possibly nano it for the stall if the Valk was about to run out. Whereas I'd probably say nanoing like Sigma here might just be higher value, or McCree's
Hmm.
about to come in with his ultimate would be higher value, or Bastion is very far back, but that
Yeah.
could potentially be if when he gets back an option.
Let's say I know right here. I was waiting on the Genji. I thought he was gonna dive me. That's why I didn't use nade right off the rip. But then he took forever to dive me. That's why I chucked it.
Yeah. So there's just being aware of our surroundings. Like we saw Genji, we saw Genji
Taking
shoot at us like
damage.
a second ago.
Hmm.
Like we can hear him below us. We saw him shoot up there. Like we know he's like we can hear his footsteps below us. Like we know he's like really close to us, and yet
Hmm.
we nade and like we scope in to make us an easier target. We nade, we throw away our ability, and then therefore that's what kills
This
us.
will
Whereas
help.
we probably could have just turned naded the floor, kept us alive,
Hmm.
and dueled him, right? So here just we know that he's there, or at least we should know that he's there, right? So being aware of our surroundings and then making better decision accordingly. And good positioning.
Get clear.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Make sure reloading when there's nothing else to
My
do.
servants never
Right.
die.
There you go. Oh.
ده هيكون مؤلم.
Again, no one main anti-nade when we've seen multiple instances where everybody is grouped up, like so right
Hmm.
here, right? We chuck it at Reinhardt, Ana, and Soldiers, a 3-man,
Hmm.
right? We chuck it at them still, it's a 3-man. Chuck it at them still, it's a 3-man, right? Chuck it
Hmm.
slightly to the left, that's a 3-man, right? Here we chuck it
Yeah.
straight at Reinhardt, but we chucked it a little bit to the side, that's a 3-man, right?
I think the play what I was trying to do was get the Genji and Rhine.
Yep, which, just make sure then we're putting it at the feet in between them,
Yeah.
not chucking at one of them, right?
I still have use for you. 30 seconds.
Oh,
I'm
almost.
under attack.
Shoot at him. He's 1 HP, right? Pay attention to his health bar, right? He's 1 HP there. If we shoot at him, he dies.
Yeah.
Probably drop to where we can. No, yeah, like if the fight's happening and we can't see it, that's where we
They're
rotate or
almost out
drop.
Mhm.
But we win the fight anyways.
Pardon me.
All right, good game. All right, so that was actually probably a really good one, the VOD review, because it was very close. So
Yeah.
good choice there. All right, so we have now another hour, pretty much.
Yeah.
Let me get up the next one here.
So that would have taken up one of our other sessions, the whole one.
Traveling to Numbani. Ready for battle.
F10.
We all have
2, 1.
This will help.
Let's see. This one is purely Ana. Besides, like at the end on like defense, just for a little bit of stuff I do Zen. But yeah,
And then
this is
this
for
is
mid.
and you're wanting to do it right over the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This will help.
Probably unnecessary need. Right. Nobody was low or in danger.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
adjusting angle of attack.
Yeah. So and then just real quick, right? Just like what I'm seeing so far, just to put it in a quick order of like just so you know what I'm working with at the moment.
Hmm.
It's looking like positioning is the number one thing.
Hmm.
Ability usage is the number two thing. Probably say that number three is your
Ultimate, probably.
trying to think through that. Probably say that because we have ultimate, we have position, or we have mechanics, and we have awareness. Probably say that mechanics comes in next, and then ultimate, then awareness being last.
Okay.
And then that's the current rough list here.
The pain is coming.
Okay. Good nade, make sure
Mhm.
healing people who are critical and in the fight, right? Paying attention to the fight.
You're covered.
Oh, missing the sleep, but almost great. Oh, just barely. Again, two critical teammates, and we're
Mhm.
shooting at enemies, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you're just prioritizing the low people,
Scratch, you'll be fine.
watching and being aware of the low HPs, right? Paying attention to our teammates, awareness of pay attention to our teammates' health bars, pay attention to the enemy team's health bars, pay attention to the danger levels of people, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Nano priority on our team.
Let's see. For our team, it's going to be Genji if he has Blade. I'd say, I guess Ryan would probably be a good at least 1A. And then I don't know if you'd use it on Echo's copy just because that character. Well, I guess depending on if she copies like Soldier or something like that, you could use the Echo visor and put Nano on it. If not, you could do Hog.
So in the situation, you're right. Genji would be number one. I'd probably say Echo is very, very unpredictable, and so
Hmm.
she'd be potentially number two. But then also besides that, she'd probably, if not, she'd be very low on the list, right? So it really depends on who she copies. If she were to copy Soldier, and then that would be number two, right? Like you said, if she
Yeah.
copied Soldier, that'd be number two. If she copied Hog, she would also be number two. As our Hog, like if Echo copied someone bad, right? Our Hog would therefore be the number two. So I probably, would say
Mhm.
Echo's number two, and then if she doesn't do anything right, then our Hog is the next in line, number three, because Nano Whole Hog is more powerful than I know Reinhardt,
Mhm.
because the range that it provides over just Reinhardt, and they do at a close range, they're probably doing like the same amount of damage, right? So probably say Nano Whole Hog is more powerful than just flat up Nano Ryan. So you'd have Genji, Echo maybe, Whole Hog, and then Reinhardt would be fourth, right? So we actually have a lot of great Nano targets, so just don't
Yeah.
hesitate too much on it. Just make sure we're trying to go for the best one in the situation. But we can't really go too far wrong unless we Nano Echo when she copies, Ana, or we Nano
Yeah.
Zenyatta, or we Nano Reinhardt when he's across the map from somebody, right? So,
Nano boost is ready to deploy. My ultimate is
Objective
ready.
A
oh,
captured.
Nano boost is
Escort
my
Yeah.
ultimate
I
is
was trying to
ready.
talk Genji like, yeah.
Go. I should be healed.
Zenyatta? Okay, Zenyatta is pushing.
Yeah.
I was just, it wasn't showing up on the thing on the top for some
Many.
reason. Okay, good sleep.
Executing flight maneuvers.
Okay, shooting at the wall there a little bit. Good job repositioning the high ground. That's a good idea.
Mhm.
My ultimate is ready.
Okay, here. So we have, Genji does not have Blade yet.
Mhm.
Do we nano somebody else, or do we go for or do we wait for the Nano Blade?
Uh, we could Nano someone else just because, I mean, at the rate the first fight went, I was building Nano pretty quick. We could probably Nano Whole Hog, or if Ryan gets like a big shatter, I could give him Nano to help him follow up.
I would probably be more leaning towards saving it, though I would say play it by ear, right? So what you would do is
Hmm.
you press tab and go, Okay, well, we have a bunch of other ultimates, right? We have Whole Hog,
Yeah.
we have Shatter, we almost have Echo, we almost have Zenel, right? So maybe Nano Blade isn't even needed this fight, right? Or Nano isn't even needed this fight because we have so
Mhm.
many other ultimates. So what I would do is I'd go, okay, well, we don't want to get out of sync with our Genji, so I'm gonna hold on to it, and then I'm gonna need it if I see that we need a Nano boost, right? So like, let's say for example, we use Shatter, we use Whole Hog, and the fight's still progressing, but it still looks even and we need that extra oomph to win, right? That's where we would nano, but it'd be situational, right? So we're going to play it by ear and lean more towards trying to save it if possible, right? So
Mhm.
that'd be probably what I go for here. That way we don't get out of sync with our Genji, and then we use nano, and then he uses blade, and then we're just out of sync the rest of the round, right? Probably be best that we just try our best to hold on to it if possible. We also drop from the high ground here. Reaper now goes up, but we drop into weird
Mhm.
positioning, right? When
Yeah.
we could have probably kept the top right high ground.
I think I was more worried about their soldier and Reaper probably contesting me, and I didn't know if I was going to really get any peel.
Yeah, which I
I
mean,
think I thought,
in that case, like all we have to do, like the difference between here to here is we just can, it's the same
yeah.
thing. We can just drop, right? And we also have sleep to sleep them, and we also have nade to nade them, right? And that's the big things, right? Chuck a nade and nothing there. You want to be looking for Nano Blade
You're
pretty
powered
soon
up.
here.
Get in there.
Or sorry, never, we didn't have Nano Blade. So we Nano Hog here.
This will help. You're going to be okay. Oh, you look tired. I've seen worse. You're going to live.
Focus my target.
Whiffing sleep. Make
Mhm.
just in general putting more effort into our ability usage, right? Like when
The
it comes to
payload
ability
has
usage,
reached the
you should
checkpoint.
be, don't just go, I'm going for sleep now, sleep, right? What you do is you think about it before you're going for it, right? You put like, we're looking for an opportunity. So we're with our, for example, we're looking for a nade. We're thinking about it like 4 seconds before we throw our nade, right? We're not just going, okay, nade now, nade, right? We're thinking about it beforehand. We're going, okay, waiting for them to group up, looking to get around, get around shields and abilities, and looking for an off angle. Right, we're thinking through all these things and trying to put effort into how we're landing nade. We're not just kind of chucking it in there. Same thing with sleep. Right, make sure we're putting, we're thinking about it ahead of time. Sometimes, for example, like if we're trying to get it in as often as possible, we can think about how we're using it before we even get it off a cooldown, right? So we can be, while it's still 4 seconds away from you getting the cooldown, you can be looking for the opportunity so that the second it comes off a cooldown, you can chuck in a nade, right? And then you have it out there as often as possible, right? So we
Mhm.
just want to make sure we're putting an effort into getting our abilities out there as often as possible, getting good value out of them. Whereas, so we're not just whiffing it in, sleeping. Um, Notice how we have, pretty normal name aim, like we're shooting at these guys, we're shooting at them, pew pew pow pow, very easy, and then we go for the
I've
sleep on
seen
the
worse.
Reaper,
You're going to
and
live.
notice how all of a sudden we go for these crazy flicks on them, right? We go
Focus my
wow,
target.
right? And that's not how we usually aim.
Yeah.
Shoot your sleep as if you're just shooting an unscope shot, right? It's not that different. It's going to travel in a straight line. You don't need to randomly flick it when you're already aiming at Reaper, right? That's a situation where flicking is not needed, right? So don't randomly flick your sleeps. But there are situations where flicking is needed. Have we talked about when flicking is needed versus when it's not needed? I don't think that doesn't feel like something we would have talked about.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
so flicking is needed when anytime your crosshair needs to travel somewhere very, very fast, right? So think
Mhm.
tracer blinking around us, well, or a
Mhm.
fast moving target, right? Now we need to flick to get to them. Someone sneaks up behind you, we need to flick around to shoot at them, right? We're aiming straight here, and then all of a sudden somebody pops up on the high ground above us, and we need to flick up to see that person, right? Those are situations where flicking is needed, but if we're already aiming straight at Reaper, flicking is going to do nothing but just mess with our aim, right, and make it harder to hit the shot. So this is a situation where flicking would not be needed.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Die feeder.
Oh, couple shots missed, unnecessary and heal need.
Finishing them off.
Go.
Whereas
I'll
now,
keep you
okay,
busy.
now he's purple, but that
Mhm.
potentially
Yeah.
would be a situation where Hog is in danger and low, where heal need is actually needed there. Missing the sleep again, going for the flick with it. scoping in when we're within like our 15 meters on Hog. Okay, backing up to some pretty far positioning unnecessarily, right? Like, okay, so from back here, we're gonna let people get out of our line of sight easily. No one's pushing cart. Probably would be, you know, on us to push cart if nobody else is. We also are just
You're
incapable of
covered.
landing abilities from back here.
Wait.
Right, so notice from that back positioning, we are incapable of seeing anybody who ran around the corner, right? So from
You're
here,
covered.
we miss out on seeing teammates. We maybe miss out on pushing card if Zenyatta walks off of it. We can't land abilities. I mean, from here, we don't really have great high grounds to use at all, right? So
Yeah.
here, just make sure not sitting this far away from the fight. Anna's not like even though she does have a sniper gun, she's not a sniper character where she likes to sit in the all the way far in the back as far as possible. Because from those angles, a lot of times you're going to be unable to land abilities, right? Like here, how are we going to get our carrying potential on Ana if we're sitting on the other side of the map, right?
Mhm.
From the fight, right? Whereas there's, you know, no reason to not be sitting right here, right? Where we can just peek around the corner, boom, 3-man anti-nade, right? Or at least when Reaper unfades, right? Or sleeping Reaper, something like that, right? Because like here, if we're right here, we can sleep Reaper or nade Reinhardt, and then boom, we've just kept someone alive and slept their nano, right? But because we're all the way back here, Reinhardt dies,
This will
nade
help.
doesn't do anything. We don't go for the sleep
Name.
until too late, and then sleep does come through, but it's after we've already lost 2 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just way too far back in this fight.
Not very many.
Yet again, just positioning.
This will only hurt for a
Okay,
minute.
prioritize the healing of your Genji over the damage of the enemy team, right? If you heal up Genji's able to kill the people you're shooting at. So you keep someone alive and get a kill. If you let Genji die, you're probably less likely to kill that person than Genji is. You do less damage than Genji, so you're less likely to secure the kill, and then you're also down a person, right? So
Yeah.
in most cases, if healing's needed, heal, right?
I'm on fire.
Oh, miss sleep.
Yeah, I'd already pressed shift right as she did that.
I'm under attack.
Okay. Be careful of letting Reinhardt walk right in front of us here because we don't know his health bar, right? Like when Reinhardt, when we hear, like we can hear Reinhardt behind us, we see him like the moment that he walks into our line of sight here, and when we nade, and yeah, we still try to nade through him, right? So like here, we can see him walk through us. We don't see his health bar, so we don't know if he needs healing or not, right? Therefore, he probably could have pretty easily blocked that, and we'd still try to chuck it through him. So just be careful. Walk to the side because you could just do boop. Now Reiner can't
Yeah.
block it, right? Because that's a situation where like had somebody shot him with like 1 HP worth of damage, nade would have been blocked, right? Now nade does land, but it's on one person. Request healing, right? So that your Zenyatta can turn around and orb you, right? It's just a really good, button to be pressing, right? Gets you healing faster,
Yeah.
lets them know where you are.
Adjusting angle of attack.
Name. Walk it off. You're powered up. Get in there. Oh, die, Diva.
Okay, if you knew that you're gonna get frozen, like there's like, oh snap, there's no way I get around this. I might like do my best to back up this way so that I put them further out of our line of sight so that we're not able to get shot at by these guys. Whereas here, well, when we're positioning this angle, right? If anybody looked at us, we'd be dead.
Yeah.
Or if they walked forwards at all, but like just nobody looks at us. So this I just might try to get closer to cover and use the wall, right? Just might be a bit better, but I mean, honestly, there wasn't much we could have done.
Duplicating Winston.
Go. I'll keep you here.
Okay, everybody's full HP. Use the time to reload. Sitting at 1 ammo. Yeah, there you go. Grenade.
I guess I should ask too. When we did get Blizzard, like was that a good nano on the Rhine?
I mean, I think the Nano was before they used Blizzard. We had used it before they used the Blizzard.
You're powered up.
See,
Get in
Nano,
there.
and then Blizzard
Yeah.
came after. But like I had said, I guess in general there we did Nano Reinhardt when we had an Echo copy and the Nano Whole Hog, so he would be the third priority here,
Mhm.
and when we Nano Reinhardt.
Mhm.
So
Oh, die Diva.
that's possibly why. We also Nano, nade Reinhardt directly instead of nading him and May, right? So nade person
Oh,
directly instead of hitting two people.
die Diva.
Once again, get a bit closer to the fight. Yep, there you go. I probably do, when I get the opportunity here, I'd do some parkour and get like up here, right? Jump from here up to there. Jump from here up to. Oh, actually, can we jump? Maybe it's the other way. Can we make the jump? I actually
I,
don't.
I I think
I think
you
you can. I think you
can.
can. So jump from here to there, from here to there, from here to there. That
Mhm.
sort of idea, right? I'm pretty sure you can jump up that. Yeah, fairly certain. But just make jump up so we can have the high ground and they'll be able to land, have a good, if we're up here, right, we have a great, it gives us some good survivability against people, and also fantastic vantage point over the entire point, right? Um, Whereas from this angle, can't really land the abilities too easily, especially like if they're behind cart. Okay, with our sleep,
Take your medicine.
prioritize healing of the Brig, because we let Brig die there, right, instead of healing Brig. And once again, we're prioritizing shooting at the enemy tanks over healing people, right? That's happened over and over and over again.
Only hurt for a
Right,
minute.
big need though, we get two people in it.
I'm on fire. You're going to be okay.
Alright, good positioning. Trying to shoot people from there.
Yeah. It's like that one little
Uh-oh.
frame you can get them at.
Don't be reloading when Echo's being shot at and is critical.
I will keep you
Probably
healed.
not as, she wasn't in danger there. No need for nade. And then that means that we can look down main and get a big fat nade there if we were paying attention. Or you just, get it around the Reiner shield and then boom, that's like a 4-man. Prioritizing shooting a Reaper over critical Echo, right? Again, critical Echo.
This will help.
Uh, just barely off, man. So the problem there,
Yeah, I was trying to wait for Ryan to
yep,
turn his shield. That way I could get him
the,
from
yep,
behind.
the problem was not with the timing of the nade, was with the purely the placement, because notice
Mhm.
that the natural geometry just
Yeah.
blocks it from hitting the Reinhardt. If we, for example, landed on top, the very tip of cart here, that would hit absolutely everybody. That would be probably a very massive nade. We'd get 1, 2, 3, 4 in it, possibly Reinhardt, because he's like halfway through the shield, so possibly 5 in that. Right, so we
Mm,
get like a 5-man anti-nade, but because it hits this side of cart, the cart blocks it from hitting all these people and hits one
Yeah.
person, right? So, 5-man anti-nade versus 1-man anti-nade. Just make sure we're putting that slightly up higher, right? Or even
Mhm.
here, in the situation, you probably could have also just like hit the Reinhardt and been fine with it,
Mhm.
just because they're all so clumped up on top of each other.
Dahay kung muklim.
Prioritizing damaging over healing of critical HP targets, right? Therefore, letting them die. Again, prioritizing the damage over critical.
Yeah.
We did that again and again and again that fight, right?
This will only
Okay,
hurt for a
good
minute.
purple. Yeah, in general, right? I think we're carrying over damage a little too much, right? We're damaging too much.
Mhm.
Zenyatta is like an 80% damage character, 20% healing, right?
Mhm.
Ana is like an 80% healing, 20% damage character, right? She like in that
Mhm.
like when she with her gun, now she
Yeah.
like how Ana gets her value is her abilities, right? That's how she does her damage, that's how she does her value. But she doesn't really like to be shooting at enemies a ton, and then we've noticed situation after situation after situation where we've just let people die because we're focusing enemies instead of teammates, right? So focus teammates, right? You're different from Zenyatta to Ana. Zenyatta, you just plop an orb on them and keep shooting and shooting and shooting.
Mhm.
Ana, you have to choose: do I heal or do I damage? You as the healer have to heal, right?
Mhm.
Don't chuck it straight at shield. Try to like get it around the shield, like right, throw it to the left or the right of the shield. You're not healing Genji, not healing Echo, right?
ازيك؟ ازيك؟
Okay, in this situation, how likely is it that we recap here?
Slim to none.
So none. Okay. So would it be better if we get this spawn right here, or this spawn over here?
I guess it would be our old spawn. I guess it would be.
It'd be better to get this spawn. Why?
Yeah. Just because it'd be closer to the next team fight.
Be closer to the fight. We wouldn't stagger, right? Now,
Mhm.
what happens is, so right now probably be the best decision would be to let them kill us, right? To just run into them and say, "Hey, kill me." Right? That way
Mhm.
we respawn and we get the close spawn, and we don't respawn and get the bad spawn. And but what ends up happening is we all try to
ازيك؟
recontest, and then now we have half our team up there, and then half our team respawning at bad spawn, which means that we've just essentially wasted an entire fight, right, by doing that. Because now our team has to wait for us to run back, and then by the time we get there, they've already pushed cart past that. Each point gets 2 fights. They've already pushed cart past that first fight because of how far back we are, right?
Mhm.
So off of us staggering, we've wasted an entire fight, right? So essentially, because we just did that, we lost our team a fight, right?
Mhm.
Not only us. It was also Hanzo and the Genji, but that was our impact on losing it, right? And
Yeah.
then because we're staggering, our teammates stagger even more.
My ultimate is charging. Get here.
And when you see the fights being lost like that, don't walk back into it, because then we just stagger even further, right? We walked back in knowing that we were already losing it, and then we stagger and stagger and stagger, right? Regroup,
My
make sure
ultimate
grouping up with
is
the
ready.
team. Don't be the one who staggers, because there we staggered ourselves twice. And just to confirm, because I think we did talk about this, especially when we talked about kill feed, but you understand the term stagger, right?
Yeah.
So making sure we're not being the one to stagger, right? Not dying late. Group up, let them kill you, get out.
You're powered up. Get in there.
I didn't think he was going to kill the Reaper there, to be honest. That's why I nanoed him in the 2v1.
Yeah.
I don't even know
Maybe.
you anymore.
I'd also that's a hard one. I think I might not, like, just because we see Reaper, we see both their health bars. It's just kind of
Hmm.
the awareness of the situation of we see both their health bars.
Hmm.
We know that we can heal up McCree. We have both of our abilities we can chuck in there to help out. So therefore, I probably would say Nano's not needed based off of awareness, right?
You're
Paying attention
powered
to our
up. Get
environment.
in there.
No stopping me.
Plus, we know that even if we did Nano McCree, like Tracer recalls out, Reaper Wraiths out, right? Sort of thing.
And we do have blades too, yeah.
Mm. Right, and you also have to think, in comparison as well, right? If McCree, like, how likely is it that us nanoing McCree there gets kills?
Mm,
Like, how many kills? Like, how many kills could we expect out of nanoing McCree?
at most two,
At most two. Okay.
unless someone else on their team decides to push in with them. But
Mm.
it should be no more than two, more than likely.
Okay. Now, if we nano a Genji, how many kills can we maybe expect?
I guess because since they don't really have like a defensive alt like beat or even lamp or anything like that, we could expect at least more than two.
So I'd say maybe for McCree would be a maximum of 2, and
Hmm.
for Genji would be a minimum of 2, right?
Yeah.
So then, probably just, even if McCree were to die there, if we have close spawns, probably just save it to go for the Genji,
Okay.
because it's probably a high priority. Make sure we're not positioning on the open. Here we're just kind of sitting out in the open. That
Watching
has
your
been
back.
one thing that we've been doing a decent job of, is we've pretty much been using cover for the most part, but then we have something like this where we're just kind of chilling out in the open. Go to audio awareness. Missed the sleep, unfortunately.
Taking damage.
Hold up now.
Reload.
Try and go for the prediction one right there.
My ultimate is charging.
Take your medicine.
Team's a little far forwards.
My ultimate is charging.
Watch our health bar. We want to be, like,
Mhm.
getting healing up.
Mhm.
Okay, we were way too far back, right? Our entire team is on the other side of the map, and we were
Mhm.
nowhere close to being
My
able to
ultimate
heal
is
them, right? So
charging.
notice where they are. Right? They're
Mhm.
all up there, and we're nowhere close to the fight, right? The fight's happening, and we're not participating. So by the time we're there in the fight, 2 kills have happened, right? 3 kills have happened, and then everybody on our team's critical, right? So essentially, we were just positioned so far out in the back that we are now down 2 people, right? We've lost 2
Mhm.
teammates, and then we're about to lose 2 more, right?
Mhm.
Because of our distance in the back, right? We weren't able to participate in the fight,
It's just a
right? So
scratch.
just make
You'll
sure
be
we're not
fine.
sitting all the way in the back and not doing anything, right? Because there we
Nice.
essentially we lost our team that fight, or at least that was our big impact on losing the fight because we had no impact at all. We just sat it out.
This will restore you.
The payload is approaching its destination. Fire at will!
Oh no, bubble.
Yeah.
Oh, watch the deflect.
Mhm.
Side set, good, almost good nade. Watch the mercy. She's going for a res and nobody's paying attention. Never mind,
Take your
McCree stops her.
medicine.
Make sure not shotgun Nate sleeps straight at shield, right? And look to get around them. Notice, alright, so team's all the way up there, right? We've already discussed don't sit a mile away from the fight, right? From
Yeah.
here, team walks left or right, we can't see anybody, right?
Mhm.
Gives us lack of visibility, we can't see teammates. From back here, lack of ability usage, you can't do abilities at all, right?
Mhm.
So we just lose out on a ton of our ability to do things. That's how, like that. Those are the base fundamentals of how you operate on Ana. That's how you have an impact. Is you heal, you
Mhm.
use abilities, right? From back here, we are unable to heal, unable to use abilities, right? Or at
Yeah.
least very drastically put at a handicap, right? From
You're
this
powered
distance. So
up. Get in there.
probably don't want to be this far back. Therefore we're incapable of landing the nano blade. So far, I don't think we've gone for 1 nano blade this fight when we've had, it's a we're 12 or I guess we can cut out some minutes. We had like 10 minutes, right? We probably had like maybe like 3 nanoblade opportunities, maybe 4, something like that, and we've gone
Mhm.
for nanoblade 0 times, right? Even though it's our most powerful combo, we there as well go for the hog in the situation, who is the probably the like worst target to be going for because he doesn't have his ultimate, right? So Genji would
Mhm.
be number 1 here, High Noon McCree would be number 2,
Mhm.
High Charge Zarya would be number 3. Hog without an ultimate would be number 4. Honestly, I'd put him even after coalescing Moira,
Mhm.
right? Because Hog without his ultimate is a pretty bad nano target, right? Because he's a skill shot character. It requires him to do things and hit shots, right?
Yeah.
So here, bad nano, bad positioning, no abilities being used. Also
Yeah.
probably over ulting when we see, you know, 2 other ults being
Yeah.
used.
I didn't realize it till after the fight. I didn't realize we used 3 alts there.
For the motherland!
Group up at my position. It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Okay. Um.
Probably
Uh.
positioning. Probably.
Trying to think. I'd probably say maybe take top left high ground. Might be a good idea,
Okay.
right? From there
Okay.
we can land. We can probably land nades, right? A bit better. We might be able to get. We might get contested, but our team could probably help us escape and get out if we need them
Mhm.
to. And then we have the high ground advantage as well, so we probably stay alive up there. But if we did get contested, we just run away.
Helden sterben nicht!
Get back in the fight. This will help.
Okay, good nade. Backing up really far away from the fight again.
Mhm.
You're going to be okay.
Right, and then we're backing up still, right? Like our team's pushing in and
Mhm.
we're backing up, right? Look at
Mhm.
that, right? Genji's going in,
Yeah.
Zarya's going in, Hog's going in, and we're all the way back here, right?
Mhm.
This is where team's going in. Have we discussed like potentially maybe we think that the team's not going to push forwards, or we think that pushing forward's a bad idea?
I
Yeah.
probably assumed that the fight was
Mhm.
90% over and that they weren't really going to push that far.
Group up with me.
Yeah.
That's probably why it
You
started to
know,
rotate.
in this situation, we just want to pay attention to our team because we can see them through walls. We can see what they're doing, right? We can, to all of that jazz, right? So just pay attention to what they're up to because that's a very big awareness thing, right?
Ahlan.
And then here we see them
Rendezvous at
push
my
forwards, and
position.
we're still
Mhm.
still are all the way back here, even though we see them all the way forwards, and we're still sitting in the back, right? So go for push forwards, help them out, right? When we see them like that.
Watching your back.
Okay, we do have another Nano Blade here. This should be almost a no excuse to not go for
Nano
it this
boost
fight.
my ultimate is charging. My ultimate is almost ready. Nano boost
Right.
almost ready.
Notice how we're not able to help Zarya. We reposition a little bit. We maybe come up here. Well, now Zarya is needing us. We drop. We land a nade. Right. We around the corner. Turn, heal Zarya up. Right. So positioning back here is very bad because we're not able to see teammates. Right. Chuck in abilities. Miss it. We don't even go for nade. Right. Go for nade very delayed. Probably just a couple seconds earlier. Probably could have gone a big one, right? Chuck it in there. 1, 2, 3, 4 people, right? Looking for abilities.
Your part.
Okay, Genji misses some slices on you. Okay. How many seconds do we have until they cap? Roughly.
It would probably be at least a good probably 30, maybe 25, something like that.
Yeah, I
If they
mean,
were, if they were,
I'd say with zero congestion, maybe like 15 seconds max. But then of course we're gonna have people who go out and touch it.
yeah.
So do we need Nano like right now, this instant?
No.
Right? When the fight's already lost, right? It's a 1,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus a 1, 2, and 1 HP. And we have a Genji on top of us, right? So this is a lost fight as of the moment.
Mhm.
Hog doesn't have ultimate, therefore again he's probably like one of the worst targets we could be going for and Genji does have blade, our number one target, right? So all we have to do here is just let Genji kill us, right? Or
Mhm.
even here we could he's 1 HP, we shoot him with one more shot and just run away up here, right? And we're safe.
Mhm.
Wait for Genji to come back, Nano Blade, right? That should be the play. But instead we go for the Nano Hog. I would imagine he's probably not going to do very much with it. Like, let's see, maybe he gets like 1 kill out of it, but I imagine he doesn't get more than 1.
I think he just stands there on the high ground. I think the whole time.
Yeah.
Taking a long time.
Okay, back up. Don't re-engage.
Yeah.
Watch the kill feed. Pay attention to what's happening there. The fight's over, and then we re-engage. And we could have gone out, but we re-engage the fight, right? So remember, when a fight's lost, we've talked about kill feed, right? When you're
Yeah.
down 2 to 3, that's a lost fight. When the fight is lost, look to get out, and if you cannot get out,
Mhm.
you let them kill you, right? Or is that we don't really do either.
True self.
Or sorry, we had the opportunity to get out, and then we did let them kill us. Where's the issue? Here, Zenyatta's not a great stall character. Probably would go, Lucio would probably be the best because he can get out fast. Ana, I'd probably say is still decent. Zenyatta is going to kind of slowly come out. So I'd say he's okay. Not the worst, but also probably not the best. Okay, put a Orb on Hog there. Yeah, there you go.
I am under attack.
Okay, miss a little bit of the tracking.
It's high noon.
When we have an orb on him right there, I'd probably just re-peek him, right? Like, cause what we can do here is because we have the wall, we can
Mhm.
go boop for like a quarter of a second, right? And get a
Yeah.
shot off, right? Using the wall. And because we have walls on him because of our orb, we can pretty much guarantee a headshot because we can sit around this wall, line up a headshot to go boop, right? And then he's dead, right? So use the wall as cover. You hit one headshot on him, he's dead.
Mhm.
That stops him from getting a kill. Oh, there we run into a Reinhardt. Audio cues tell us that he's there, so paying attention to our awareness, audio cues, that keeps us alive there. Make sure you have your orbs applied. Here we don't have either orb applied. Put your healing orb on stuff, constantly have it applied. Okay, we see Doomfist coming around the corner with our walls, right? And we don't line up the shots. Here we look to the right, like look at our crosshair here.
Yeah.
When we know Doomfist is around the corner, we talked about crosshair placement.
Yeah. We mainly did it with Kree, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
still the same thing with.
So it'd be the same exact thing, especially when we see him coming around the wall with our walls, right? This would just
Mhm.
be pre-aim around that corner at head level, and then boom, that's an easy right click into him, right? But because we don't have it pre-aimed, we have to do that large adjustment, and then that means
Mhm.
leads to missed shots, right?
My systems are restored.
An expedient solution.
And make sure just in general keeping head level as well. I think
30
we're
seconds
aiming a little bit down there on the Doomfist. Okay, you have your heal orb applied again. Notice cross replacement on the Roadhog here,
Mm.
right? So head level, right? Not feet level. Leads to headshots, not body shots.
My will made real.
My ultimate is charging. My ultimate ability ready for transcendence.
10 seconds
We
remaining.
must
Well,
experience tranquility.
Yep, pretty good trends. Okay, right clicking a little too often, right?
Mhm.
If you recall, I think we've discussed right click versus left click if we've gone over Genji, right? Right click
Yeah.
happens when you cannot actively see people, so that you can burst them when you can see people. Here, like we can actively see people, and yet we're right clicking, right? Like here, we should just be left clicking on Reinhardt because you can actively see him, and therefore left click will do more damage consistently than a right click will. But we end up right clicking instead, and then we back up, and again we could see people and actively be spamming here with left click, but we right click again, and then we left click finally, right?
Focus my target.
And then we again can see people, but we're right clicking.
Mhm.
Surrender to my will.
So pay attention to the Pharah who's like on top of us there. On top of that, just make sure we're like not sprinting. I think we got booped on the point, but then we kind of walk out to the open a little bit instead of like walking towards team. So there we just get pocketed, but make sure paying attention to the Pharah. And then we kind of were out in the open there. Make sure we're using cover. Oh, that's it. Okay. I was like, why is it not working? All right. So we'll go over the main stuff here, and then we might have time at the end here because we're, and then if we do, we'll go back and look at the at the last replay for a little bit. But I think we'll be good here, right? We'll be able to finish it up. So in any case, right, we were on Ana most of the time, tiny little bit on Zenyatta,
never
tiny
stop
bit, right?
fighting
So
for what
Ana,
you believe in.
ability usage, right? Make sure that we are putting in a lot of effort into our abilities. They're very, very powerful. They do a whole heck of a lot, right? Sleep, make sure not randomly going for flicks with it, right?
Yeah.
You know, you don't flick when flicking's not needed, right? You flick when people are, you know, this goes into, that's a mechanics thing, but you flick when people are fast moving, when they're behind you, when you can't, when you're adjusting to them, like they're on high ground here, and we're like flicking up to the person, like we're aiming down here, and then we flick up with the sleep,
Feeling
right?
sleepy?
That's where it's necessary. But if we're aiming straight at a person, not necessary at all. Right? Put effort and thought into it. Nade, look to land nade in the feet between as many people as possible. Don't chuck it at them directly. Aim at the ground in between them, right? Besides that, make sure we're looking to get our abilities around things that can block it, right? Where we have multiple things that can block them, right? We have teammates that can block them, walk to left or right, right? Um, we have shields, right, and tanking abilities and tanks themselves that can block them, right? Wait till tanks are dead, out of position, right? Till they've dropped their abilities, till they don't have their abilities, right? There's a lot of different things we can do to get around them. Look to get around them, and then ultimately, off-angling is how we can just instantly get around them, right? Off-angling just gets around all of them instantaneously, right? So look to put a lot of value into our abilities, right?
This will only
Zenyatta,
work for a
make sure
minute.
we constantly have our orbs applied, right, to things. But besides that, not super big. So ultimately, on Ana, the ability usage probably comes in at like a medium high. Zenyatta, probably more like a medium on Zenyatta, right? Not as big. Right. Moving on, ultimate usage, right?
Never
On
stop fighting
Zenyatta,
for
not really
what
gonna
you
talk about. We only
believe
saw
in.
one on Zen, not really a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Justice delivered.
The one we saw was good. On a nade, or sorry, ultimate usage, right? Make sure that we are coming up with a target priority in our head, right? Thinking through it, because we didn't really keep to the target priorities like at all, right? Like it wasn't, even though we knew who were the best targets, we didn't actively implement that in our game. Like you were able to tell me pretty easily, this is the best person, this is the second best person, like with maybe a little bit off, right? I had to correct a little bit of it. But for the most part, you understood who you should be nanoing. Yeah, we didn't nano those people, right? And then that comes down to making sure we're we're thinking about that in game, right? In between every single round, come up with that priority, and then that will help guide you through your ultimates and make it so that you're actively thinking about who you should be nanoing, right? Make sure we're not nanoing too early when the fight hasn't even begun. Make sure we're not nanoing in won or lost fights. Make sure we're nanoing the best targets, right? Come up with that target priority like 1, 2, 3, in our head. Sometimes they will have conditions on them, right? And then
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. Ultimates overall probably say goes to like a medium priority, right? Mechanics, make sure that we are not overhealing. Pay attention to health bars. Don't heal when people are full HP. That does absolutely nothing. Make sure that we are healing as a priority, right? Healing is done when healing is needed. Damage is done when healing is not needed, right? There were many, 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 many times where healing was needed and we damaged instead, right? We is not something I should be doing. I forgot to mention that with nade, right? Healing nades, right? Healing nades happen when healings are needed. Don't heal nade when people don't need it, right? Watch danger levels and health bars of teammates, right? You do use it when they are in danger, when they are low, right? Not one or the other. Back to mechanics, general mechanics looking pretty solid, though of course, sometimes we'd like hit walls and stuff like that, right? Make sure we're
Yeah.
putting an effort into keeping it consistent. But besides that, it's looking pretty good. Is there anything else mechanics?
I
Scoping,
expected
right?
more from you.
Quick
Yeah,
scope,
yeah.
don't randomly quick scope, right? Quick scope is when you're under pressure and far away. Unscope is 10 to 15 meters on 10 meters on squishies. Past that, scoped. 15 meters on tanks, right? Past that, scoped, right? Just keep in mind those scoping distances. Reload. Make sure reloading every time you have the opportunity when there's nothing to be doing, right? Don't just keep shooting randomly at nothing, right? That way we actually have ammo for when people need it. And then I think that's it. Overall, probably like a medium priority, right?
Go to sleep.
Now, positioning. Make sure that we are not positioning on the other side of the map, right? That we are positioning a little bit closer to the fight. Usually we want to keep a close distance to our team and a medium distance away from the enemy team on Ana. Or it can be a medium distance away from your team too. It depends upon the situation. But then that lets us land our abilities, but inherently projectiles are difficult to land at ranges, and then therefore we don't want to be on the other side of the map, right? Besides that, make sure we're using cover, make sure we're taking high grounds, and then when you're positioning, check off all the boxes in your head, right?
Yeah, free.
Can I see my team, right? Can the enemy team see me? Do I have an off angle I can use? Am I on a high ground, right? Do I have cover? Right, just checking off all these boxes in our head. Like, am I too far away? Am I close to, am I able to do things from back here? Right, check off all the boxes in your head and think through it, right? And then overall, probably say that one goes to a.
I have you on both.
Probably say that one goes to a high priority, right? Awareness, right? Awareness is paying attention to our environment, right? Thinking through things, right? Make sure we're paying attention to our health bar. Request healing when you're low. Don't just nade when you don't need it. Make sure we're paying attention to the health bars of our teammates around us. So we know when people are in danger and need nade, and when people need nano and whatnot, right? Pay attention to team compositions, as team compositions dictate playstyle. You're playing differently every time you're on a different team comp and they're on a different team comp, right? So that's like paying attention, for example, to your nanos, right? And who we're nanoing. Press tab in between if you're not in the habit already, make it a habit to press tab in between every single fight of the game, right? That's going to give you information on, did we swap characters? Did they swap characters? What ultimates do we have? Who can I combo nano with, right? Make sure we're paying attention to where is our team at, right? Where's the enemy team at, right? Where are people at, so we can, be aware of what's happening in the fight, right? For example, where we were sitting on the opposite side of the map when our team is pushed forwards in their spawn and we didn't notice our team is up there, right? Pay attention to our teammates, right? Or when Far was on top of our head and we didn't notice the Far was on top of our head, right? Audio awareness, right? Paying attention to Reinhardt, that he's like an inch from us, so we're not running into him, right? A ton of times our audio awareness didn't come into play, right? So paying attention to our environments, right? Those are all a lot of the main things, right? Oh, kill feed, right? Paying attention to kill feed with the flow of the fight, who's winning versus losing, so we know when to make what decision, right? Because there are a lot of times where we made a poor decision off of that, right? So just paying attention to all those things. So overall, I had put it at the lowest earlier, probably bumped it up a lot near the end especially. So now I'd probably say it goes to probably like a medium to a medium high priority, kind of in the middle of those, right?
Gotcha.
So overall, let's put that in order real quick. Number 1 was your positioning. Number 2 was your ability usage. Number 3 was your awareness. Number 4 was your mechanics, and then number 5 was your ultimate usage, right? I guess we have another 9 minutes here, so we can go back and get into the rest of the replay in a bit. But do you have any questions about anything we've gone over, or just anything else in general?
Nothing really. I'd say everything's been pretty much explained a couple times over. So yeah, I'm pretty much getting the gist of it.
All right, sounds good. So then why don't we leave real quick and we can just get up that last one.
So I think I sent it to you. Yeah, I did send it to you.
Oh, what am I doing in there?
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar. Ready for battle. One. Attackers incoming.
So I guess looking at our team comp would, I guess would Zarya pretty much be, if she's high energy, be first Nano Priority and then Sig, or would Sig be kind of like main priority almost through and through?
Probably say that a Nano High Noon would be number 1 priority, right, over the other two, because you have a lot of high grounds you can use. You have an Echo who's probably going to be in the sky, who's going to be a free kill with it, and you don't have a ton that can contest it besides, I guess they do have a little bit that can contest it. They have a Genji and then who can deflect and Ana who can sleep, but that's pretty much it. Besides that, like when you nano a High Noon, he acquires all those targets sooner, which gives him less time to react and means that he gets it off sooner, right? So in any case, probably say that would be number 1, but again, that's situational. Number 2, yes, a high energy Zarya would definitely come as a priority over the Sigma, because Sigma's only like Sigma's a pretty meh target to Nano. He's not a very great target. He's okay. I'd probably say he's like as good as like Ball is usually to Nano. He's like kind of on that power level of a Nano boost. He's okay, but he definitely come in as like a number 3 priority here.
Okay.
Enemy contact.
If you like, would you like to like use this last little bit of time to like go over just all the different priorities of targets?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
So
Just to kind of get it in our head.
So hero gallery, right? Ana can't.
Yeah.
Ash normally is bad. Bob is good if they do not have a sleep or a hack and he is in a good position, so he'd be situational, right? Baptiste, bad, right? Maybe one, but he's just in general bad, right? But very, very rarely, right? Bastion, good with or without ultimate, or fantastic target, right? Good with or without ultimate. Brig, probably not, but she's okay if she has rally. She's a decent target if she has rally. Diva, pretty decent. Doomfist, good with or without ultimate. Probably say just like slightly less powerful than Bastion, right? Echo, is okay.
Dependent.
Yeah,
I
okay
guess.
if she does not have ultimate. If she does have ultimate, it depends on who she picks, and then you would go off of what character did she just pick. Though keep in mind, like for example here, if Echo has it's like if you're comparing people, right? Like so, let's say for example, Echo Ryan versus regular Ryan. Echo Ryan would immediately become the better target because you nanoing her gets her ultimate faster, right?
Yeah.
Multiple times over, right? So she becomes therefore the better target to go for, right? Nano Echo versus versus Nano Winston, better target would be Echo, right? So then Genji, of course, best target in the game with Blade, but then without Blade, pretty meh, right? Not great. Hanzo, pretty meh. Junkrat, pretty meh. Lucio, almost never. McCree,
If he has
okay.
High Noon,
If he has High Noon,
mainly.
is pretty decent. Like it really is situational with it. Without it, probably not really ever. Only at like insanely high levels of play would you do that. Mei, meh. Mercy, meh. Moira, if she has Coalescence, pretty decent. Without, no. Orisa, okay. She's probably to the same level of she's probably like just below Sigma and
Mhm.
Ball in power level of using Nano. Pharah with or without ultimate, or sorry, with ultimate, fantastic, right? Without ultimate, pretty good, right? Reaper with ultimate, fantastic. Without ultimate, pretty good. Reinhardt,
Mhm.
pretty great. Roadhog, little bit better than Reinhardt with being with ultimate being really
Mhm.
good without no. Sigma, okay, like he's a little bit better with his ultimate, like just slightly better with his ultimate, but
Mhm.
overall he's like an okay target, right? Soldier with visor, fantastic. Without visor,
Mhm.
no, not great. Sombra, not great. Symmetra, if high charge and in the fight, yes. If not,
Mhm.
then no. Torbjorn, probably no, never. Tracer, only at insanely high levels of play, usually no. Widowmaker, never, even at high levels of play. Winston, with ultimate or with sorry, without ultimate, really good, probably like tied around like Reinhardt level, right?
Mhm.
With ultimate, probably say like during his ultimate a little bit worse. Usually you want to like do it one then the other, not at the same time.
So yeah,
Um,
usually I see people like they'll give him like all or they'll give him Nano when he's at like 80 and just tell him to jump in
mhm,
and he should be able to farm it.
yep.
That's what I see a
Um,
lot of people do.
Ball, pretty okay, right? Not fantastic. Zarya with high energy, pretty great.
Mhm.
Like I probably say Zarya with high energy is going to be equivalent to around the level of a Reinhardt, maybe even
Mhm.
slightly better because she has more range than him.
Mhm.
Zenyatta, usually not, right?
Mhm.
So that's just your rough range, right? And
With the
good.
Zarya is I'd say 'cause we said earlier I think it was at 60 is when she starts to
Mhm.
glow. Is that kind of when like that should be like the lowest she should ever get nanoed, or should I maybe wait till
Yeah,
she's at like 80 or something?
I'd probably say situationally, maybe you can do like 50 or so. Like if she,
Hmm.
for example, like you can, there's always everything is situational, right? Like let's say Zarek has a, like she has her ultimate and she's about to die.
Hmm.
Well, now you can nano her to keep her alive so she can ult, right? Even if she's at zero energy, right? Um, or if you need her in the fight and she's but she's only like 30 energy, you might want to nano her still if she's like critical. But if she's not critical and she's not in danger and she doesn't have her ultimate and she doesn't have energy, then you wouldn't nano her, right? So it's situational, but yes, the rough range would be 60 or higher would be preferable, is when you're nanoing
Okay.
her. That's when she becomes a good target to nano versus just
Hmm.
a very, very situational target to nano.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
Um, I think that's about it. I mean, you went over a lot of the stuff I need to work on a bunch,
Yeah.
so I'll know what to pay attention to.
Sounds